CodeWP offers the Chat UI, which is a more traditional approach to a conversational chatbot that leverages custom AI specific to WordPress. To get there, you click the Create New button, and then instead of creating a new snippet, which will send you to the Code UI, you click in to create a new chat. This is a traditional experience similar to something like ChatGPT, except it is specially trained and tailored towards WordPress, and you also have access to the various CodeWP modes. And we cover CodeWP modes in detail in another video, but we'll cover them here as well. So the standard behavior of this chat mode is as expected. You can use a pre-built prompt to help understand the capabilities of this chatbot. In this example, I'm saying I'm a small business owner. What are some good plugins to help me do digital marketing? I submit this message, and CodeWP responds with a WordPress-specific answer. So you can see I didn't mention WordPress once here, but because this is a WordPress platform, it's answering in that manner. Just like every other chatbot out there, it has conversational awareness. So if I respond to this message, it will respond in kind. So I'll say, tell me more about option 4. We'll submit that, and it will refer to its previous message, draw on its knowledge of WordPress specifically and the plugins within the ecosystem, and then go and tell me a bit more about Sensei LMS. So this is a cool tool to help me out with my digital marketing and business ownership. Now, this chatbot is up to date and knows more about WordPress than pretty much any other AI out there. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to say, what is the most recent version of WordPress? And we can see that the most major version of WordPress is 6.4, and that's the most up-to-date version as of the recording date of this video. Over on the sidebar, you can see that we have a couple of selections. The first thing I want to talk about is the WordPress mode. This is the initial mode that you'll launch into on the chatbot and any coding user interface, but you also have access to all of the other modes available on CodeWP. So if I click into the Elementor mode, I can say, tell me a bit more about this builder. And you'll notice that just like with any other mode usage in the chat UI, code UI, whatever it is, it's going to respond specifically to whatever plugin the mode refers to. So you can see that I'm asking for it to tell me a bit more about this builder. I'm not referring to Elementor. I'm not referring to anything. I'm not leading the AI to say this, but because we're in the Elementor mode, it will tell me a bit more about the builder being Elementor. Now, this is a conversational interface, and it's not the best way to build code, especially when there are multiple files involved. That's why we have the code UI, and we cover the code UI in detail in other videos. But we still can generate code. So I'm actually going to jump into ACF and say, can you walk me through the process of registering form fields with PHP code, period? Give me code examples as well as explanations in the chat, period. So here you can see that CodeWP will respond with code in the conversational manner. And this code is formatted similarly to other chatbots where you have formatted code and then you also have additional information here related to whatever its response is. So I'm asking in the ACF mode, how can I register form fields? And because I'm in the ACF mode, I don't need to specifically say for ACF. It's already implied. And it gives me a conversational response with inline code right here. And I can simply copy and paste this code if I want. I can expand upon this. And I can use it as a learning tool for understanding how different plugins work, how different methods of registering things work. Whatever the plugins have to offer, I can use this to help me out here. You can also see that this is PHP code. If I generate JavaScript code, that will change as well. Now, the code and chat modes are pretty interconnected here. So I can easily take any example that I've created. I can click create a snippet and it will go and create a brand new snippet opening in this file. And it will also pull the chat that I was just having up in the chat mode into the new interface in the coding UI. So it's very connected and I can jump back and forth between creating code and adding these custom fields and going back to the chat mode and doing some more chats, and then going back to this file right here. And it's very interconnected, so I can easily do research, I can easily learn about WordPress, I can easily ask questions in a conversational manner. But when I need to get more coding focused, when I need to build out complete plugins or multi-file solutions or complex snippets right here, when I need to leverage the preview feature, the packages, whatever it may be, I can very easily jump into that coding user interface. Now, the final thing I want to cover, actually there are a few more things I want to cover. One of the final things I want to cover is the site. So the site is consistent throughout both the coding and chat interfaces here. And I can choose a site and ask questions about this site once the site is added. And it's probably best to be in WordPress mode. I've added James's personal site. I can ask various things about this site, such as what's the URL, what are the plugins running on it, etc., etc. This will become even more important when the CodeWP helper plugin leaves beta in March 2024. All right, the final thing I want to cover right here is this is your input, standard input, but we also have conversational settings. So I can click into the conversational settings and I can trigger various things on and off. And this is also shared across the conversation. If I jump into the coding user interface, it's the same conversation, so these are the same settings. Primarily, the biggest thing for the chat responses is the response level. So if I choose advanced, it's going to give me more advanced answers, assuming I'm a developer. If I go basic, it's going to assume I'm a non-techie and give me simpler answers. So that's primarily the main thing here. And then all of these other settings are primarily for the code UI, but they also impact the inline code generations if you're using the conversational mode like so. You can see that these are great answers. These answers are WordPress specific, they're up to date, and they're really fast. So if you compare it to any other platform out there, we're going to be the best answer, most accurate, most up to date, and really quick and speedy to get to you. All right, that is the chat UI. I hope you found this video helpful. We have many other videos discussing modes in more detail, sites, the chat mode, the code mode, everything else on the platform. So check out the playlist linked below.